Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Just give a brief introduction.
Yes, sir. Sir, I'm AKANKSHA BISWAL. I belong from Cuttack, Odisha. I have done my graduation in Botany Honours from University of Delhi, following which I have done a Biotechnology Masters from South Asian University. And then I've done an MTech in IIT Kanpur in Biosciences and Bioengineering. And since then, I graduated in 2022, and since then I've been preparing for civil services.
What is biodiversity?
So biodiversity refers to the diversity of flora and fauna, and also includes like the genetic diversity that is found in the environment, in the nature.
How many biodiversity? What sites are there in your country?
So there are 4 biodiversity hotspots in India.
In India, there are 4 only.
Yes, sir. Biodiversity hotspots, like the international biodiversity hotspots, there are 4. So the Indo-Himalayan.
There are 4 diversity. I'm telling.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let me complete the basic actually.
Yes, sir.
You have done your graduation in Botany.
Yes, sir.
And post graduation is in Botany University. And
Yes, sir.
also, MTech from Kanpur.
Yes,
so
sir.
naturally, you are pursuing higher education. So would it not be better that you could have invested in education actually, sir? Because we need teachers actually, basically. We need teachers actually who can just pass on their knowledge to the next generation so that we can raise a better society. So what prompted you to join civil service for that matter?
Yes, sir. Sir, no doubt teaching and research is a very noble profession. I would say that my decision to pursue civil services had both professional and personal reasons. So first, like professionally, civil services is a very robust career and it has great dynamism and diversity. And personally, I see that there's scope for a lot of intellectual growth because you get to work at grassroots level, you get to know the reality. And sir, a professor of mine in college said that like there can be a vaccine, you can invent a vaccine and there's a cure for the disease. But what if people don't have access to that vaccine? So that is the point where I want to work in order to facilitate people's life and create like overall upliftment. So that is the reason why.
Basically, you are saying that say going for higher studies at reputed institute will give you that base to actually deliver when you join in the civil service?
Yes, sir, definitely, definitely. Like it has provided me a platform and then again the privileges I've had access to. If I cannot utilize that to raise the overall, like I want other people around me also to have the access to the same privileges. So that I feel like civil services allows someone to do like go ahead for that double pursuit. But that being said, I do think that all professions are superior in their own grounds. And but yeah, this has been something that has pushed my decision to pursue.
Can you specifically say actually what exactly the changes that you bring to the table when you join the service?
Yes, sir. Sir, currently, like the India's population policy, currently India's like national policy, like very recently we have come across this news of bio E3 policy. So we are moving towards a a generation type of timeline where these biotechnology and science will be a lot in demand because of climate change and everything. So that way I feel like I have this capabilities, like whatever I've learned in college and whatever my background is, I'll be able to deliver better, utilize all of this knowledge.
Actually, I was asking about biodiversity heritage sites.
Okay, all right, sir.
How many heritage sites of biodiversity are there in your country and how many are there in your state?
Sir, I do not recollect how many are there. I'm sorry about that. But if I am remembering correctly, in Odisha there is one in Koraput, which is like a farming thing, if I'm remembering correctly.
There are 4 biodiversity heritage sites in Odisha.
Yes, sir.
Number 1 is Gandhavardhana Pahada.
Okay, yes.
Mondasaru Pahada.
Yes.
Mahendragiri Pahada.
Yes.
Even latest declare is Gupteshwara Jungle.
Okay, yes, sir. All right.
What is the necessity? First, you tell what is the necessity of heritage biodiversity heritage site?
Yes, sir. The first prominent thing is a recognition to that site because
What is the necessity of maintaining biodiversity?
Yes, sir. So the more we make people aware, first the part is awareness. To recognize them, it will give them a legal status, and they'll be better protected. And second thing is the biodiversity heritage. It just shows that the space has a lot of rich species richness and biodiversity, and hence it can be a tool for research and everything. So to promote that.
Tell me two, three names of these seeds where we can grow 2 to 3 vegetables from a single seed.
Sir, can you please repeat the question? Name of 2, 3?
Seeds.
Seeds. Okay.
Seeds.
We are just planting that.
Yes,
one
yes.
seed
We
actually.
will plant it.
Yes,
and
yes.
it will give
We can grow multiple fruits actually, or produces actually.
it will give or it will produce multiple fruits, multiple flowers or multiple vegetables.
Okay. And these are all different species of fruits and vegetables, like 2, 3. Yeah, no, sir, I do not know.
Let me just,
Have you heard the name of a tomato?
Yes, sir. It's a genetically modified thing between potato and tomato.
Then it was when it was discovered.
I do not know. Remember.
1983
Okay.
in Germany.
Yes, sir. Okay.
So within 40 years, what are the latest developments in this area?
With regard to tomato.
Like tomato.
Okay.
What are the other things that have been discovered within these 40 years?
Sir, genetically modified crops,
How
BT
many?
cotton.
You just tell, that's why initially I told you to name 3 to 4 name of the seeds.
Yes, sir.
Like
Yes.
tomato.
Yes, sir.
You just tell.
Sir, I do not
Student of
remember.
botany, reading in Delhi,
Yes, sir.
reading in Kanpur IIT.
Yes, sir.
You are supposed to know the latest development in this regard.
Yes, sir. The latest development in regards to these genetically modified crops, I know there's BT cotton, there's BT brinjal, GM mustard, DMH11. So that I know, but the thing is these hybrids, the pomato variety and everything, that I'm not able to recollect at the
let
moment.
us talk about climate change.
Yes, sir.
We are talking about climate change.
Yes, sir.
It's in the news.
Yes, sir.
Maybe at the national level or at the international level, we are discussing that. Are we doing enough actually to arrest that climate change? Or just debating and wasting our time, so that point will come where actually we have to chase actually. It will be a catch-line situation. Are you seeing such a thing in future?
So
The
the
catch-line situation actually.
Yes, sir. So first thing, like the international organizations like IUCN, they have already said that the world is past the tipping point. We are no longer going to be able to control like 1.5 degrees Celsius and 2 degrees Celsius for that matter. And sir, the next thing is what I feel about climate change is we haven't achieved international consensus yet. So we have identified the issues, but when it comes to the funding patterns and everything, we are falling behind funding and international consensus. And then again, there are climate change events already happening where islands are submerging, and we have the Kerala's landslides, which were also said to be a result of climate change. So what I see is there needs to be increased discussion and deliberation, and probably these things need to be made legally binding with some sort of like grievance mechanism so that it is in control. But the way we are going with diminishing diversity and all of that, the world will definitely be in a very bad spot if controls are not met.
Okay, let us come to some other topics as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because you are just let us tell you how the urban shape is going actually. That we are having actually a lot of urbanisms shaping up. It's not new actually, it is there already. Maybe we do have some states like Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, they are actually, maybe they are touching almost like 50% at the cost of rural areas, at the cost of agricultural place. So what impact it will ultimately have actually? Is it going for, they are going for a better tomorrow, or maybe things are stepping back in a bad way? What's that?
So about urbanization. So urbanization refers to like the creation of urban spaces, and there are both push and pull factors when we talk about rural urban migration. So urban areas are created first by demand and second by policy. So when we see the push pull factors, the thing is there are a lot of push factors in rural areas as to which they get migrated, and people who stay back. The problem is the quality of lives are not improving. And then again, there is a disproportionate burden on land in urban areas. So the carrying capacity of land is actually going down, and there are slum settlements, and there are other health issues and everything. So I think that there needs to be like a strong policy in this regard, where like facilities, basic amenities are actually provided to rural people, so that so as to bring about a balance in rural urban migration, because at the end of the day, the urban dream is what people are chasing. So if we are able to provide the same facilities elsewhere, there will be a fine balance, and people will have more opportunities.
So already it will point of view, but what exactly do we need to do that arrested push factors actually?
Yes, sir. So the push factors.
Those it will do actually.
Yes, sir.
Basically, that unemployment or underemployment that actually drives them to seek employment elsewhere.
Yes, sir.
Urban area, or maybe sometimes they are
Yes, sir.
seem to so what exactly we need to do at rural areas so that it will have some checks,
Yes, sir.
There is
Yes, sir.
absolutely no stopping of it actually.
Yes, sir.
Anybody can seek a big future. Everybody have a dream actually.
Yes, sir. Yes,
They can
sir.
seek better employment, they can seek better life. So we can stop them actually. But exactly we need not pushing the people, just force them to go to outside or then in urban areas to seek employment. So what exactly we need to do in rural areas? Last year.
Yes, sir. So first is the saturation of basic amenities. So even though we say that there is health providing and everything, so a lot of statistics and a lot of newspaper articles often say that the primary healthcare sector is very neglected. So say someone is diseased and like has a terminal illness, they would much rather prefer to stay in an urban space. So a saturation of basic services such as health, education again. So the recent government's initiatives like Mo School Abhiyan and Prathamika Adarsha Vidyalaya and everything. So they are trying to improve, like they are trying to impart world-class CBSE education in CBSE affiliated schools. So that is also something that is attracting. And I would say the national education policy which is coming up, its thrust on vernacular language is also something that will help us retain people in the rural area, because there is this charm of studying like in English medium schools and everything. So if we are able to put pressure and bring our courses to more vernacular mediums, we'll be able to capitalize on the rural youngsters who can stay back in their places, study, and also not get a financial burden, because there is a financial burden when you like migrate. Then again, I think the most important point would be to make agriculture profitable, because the most dominant occupation of people living in rural areas is agriculture. It can be supplemented by the MSP regime and in investing in better seeds and everything. Additionally, we can also emphasize on animal husbandry practices to supplement incomes and everything. So these are a couple of areas I have identified.
So let's proceed to actually outside.
Yes, sir.
So now actually going to have a caste census or caste
Yes, sir.
census. Maybe there are two sides to it, whether to go for it or otherwise. But anyway, let us presume that we are going for a caste census.
Yes, sir.
Or otherwise. So should we go for a caste census? Is it required actually?
Yes, sir. So like you mentioned, there are two aspects to it. So I would say historically, like the problem with the caste census actually started when British undertook this exercise. And it is said that there is anecdotal evidence that once the caste census was published, a lot of people went to change their caste because it impacted them so much. So this caste division and discrimination was actually thought to be a colonial exercise. So, given India's colonial history and what we have done, what we have gotten ahead, I would say that because we have reservations and everything in place, and a lot of times people complain that the reservation benefits are not trickling down correctly, and there are a lot of people who are free riding and all of this. So that necessitates like a caste census, so that we'll be able to have like a better understanding into, because the caste census we had last, it was very old. So things have changed. So we that will give us a better record. But that being said, in our national policy, our constitution actually wanted to equalize, make it an equitable distribution. So they had initially asked the reservations to be continued for 10-20 years and later removed. So I feel like the increased emphasis on conducting a caste census and still bringing caste into the discussion actually magnifies these issues, highlights these issues more, and people might feel like the caste is in news and everything, and it might impact them more. So these are the two sides I see to it.
It's okay actually, no issue with actually, even good eloquence, so maybe it's good understanding.
Yes, sir.
recommend and just keep in touch with the current events.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Maybe as expected, ask questions on botany or environmental part. And naturally, people will go because nothing much to ask about botany. So naturally, people will go so that the subject related to that botany.
Yes, sir.
Maybe expected some questions on women issues.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I think we should just keep it up.
Yes,
keep
sir.
tempo high.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Thank you, sir. So, may I leave? Yes, sir.